getting ready to get into a truck wash here in Arizona. But I've been sitting here for over an hour and 15 minutes, barely got to the door. Evidently I cut in front of a bunch of trucks by accident because the truck that was waiting on the street didn't move fast enough to get into the driveway, and I unknowingly didn't know there was a line on the side of the road to get into the driveway, and there was a 2 truck length gap on the driveway. So I went ahead and went into the driveway and got behind the last truck, and the next thing I know is I get a knock on the window and saying that I just cut in front of like 5 trucks because they were all waiting on the street, but the guy in the front of the line didn't move fast enough, or I guess he was doing stuff in his truck and wasn't paying attention. So they said it was fine, but next time be mindful of the other drivers. I felt bad because if I was one of those guys waiting in that line, I'd be upset. But yeah, so yeah, finally getting my truck washed. It's been a while. So yeah, I got the truck washed, but it doesn't seem like they did a great job. Either that or I had so much stuff caked on here that that it didn't come off too well. But you could tell right here, like, just that spray wash didn't do a good job. Anyway, at least I got it done. What's going on, my people? So this week was a short week. I finished the week in 4.5 days, and I had 3 round trips to Phoenix and back, and basically about 2,000 miles or so. And every once in a while, those kind of weeks aren't too bad because I get to spend more time at home on the weekend. And I had a couple dinners that I needed to attend to, so everything worked out. No real drama during the week. Everything went pretty smooth. Weather was pretty decent. Some winds, but not too bad. So basically to Phoenix and back, Phoenix and back, Phoenix and back. And that was my week. Now what I did start doing is I started learning some Japanese phrases when I had some downtime. Learning simple phrases, you know, trying to increase my knowledge. I always wanted to learn Japanese, but I don't know how far I'll get. I don't know how proficient I'll be. I figure, why not? Let's give it a shot and let's see how far I can get. So I'm learning very basic phrases. I am planning to go visit Japan in June and then also go to Korea as well. Before I go, I wanted to immerse myself in as much Japanese as I can and try to be somewhat proficient so that I could order stuff at restaurants and not be completely lost when I'm going around Japan. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'll keep you posted on how well I'm doing. So far, I've learned like a handful of phrases and a handful of words. It's only been like about a week. But in the beginning, it was hard. Like, I mean, it still is hard. And trying to memorize all those phrases is challenging. But yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. And this week, I also want to talk about just how truth and honesty helps you grow. It's a catalyst for growth. Because without truth, without honesty, you don't have a starting point. You have to be realistic. And I think it's important for us to keep speaking out truth. When you're hiding behind lies or hiding behind things that aren't necessarily accurate, it's hard for people to progress in terms of being a better person. And I think there's always people around us that are speaking the truth a lot of times, but sometimes a lot of truth can be brutal. You know, they say that all truth and no love is brutality. You know, all love and no truth is hypocrisy. And so we have to try to do our best to be honest with the people that are close to us and also honest with ourselves. But there are times when we don't need to say things because the people aren't ready to hear what you have to say. And I feel like I'm guilty of this a lot of times because sometimes I just blurt out things very blunt, very in your face, and it's not cool, especially with people that are close to you. You know, it's hard to constantly say things to them. You start sounding like a nag or you start sounding like a know-it-all. And people like to make their own free decisions, and they're all in their own journey. Now, when you get a prompt or a cue to respond to somebody saying, hey, what do you think about this or that? Or am I like this or that? Then those are times when you can interject and say some stuff. But a lot of times I think we fall into the bad habit of just saying everything when they're not ready to hear. So, you know, this leads to arguments. This leads to, you know, uncomfortable situations. Everybody grows at their pace, their own pace. I think it's important that you cultivate honesty in your circles, especially with your family and close friends. Know when to say and know when to just keep quiet. That's one thing that I need to really work on with myself, is to know when to just keep quiet. Now, one thing good about some of the videos and some of the in-depth stuff that I talk about in these videos is that you don't really know me. Most of you guys don't know me that well. And if some of what I'm saying is annoying or is not relevant to you, you could always turn me off, or you could skip the video, or you don't have to face me saying, oh yeah, like the typical I told you so, type of dumb comments that we tend to make when we're right or when we think we're right. I encourage you, be as honest as possible with yourself, but with the people close to you, know when to dish out the truth and know when to just keep quiet. It's not how fast they learn or grow. It's not about being right all the time. It's more about being useful with the comments that you do make and being helpful out of love so that people can grow at their pace. So anyway, I was just thinking about that while I was driving this week as well. And yeah, can't complain about this week, even though it was a short week. I would have wanted some more miles, but it is what it is. And I had a good weekend. So thank you for following me on this journey. God bless all of you. If you're a driver out there, stay safe. Peace. And until next time, cheers.